Appearances can be deceiving, especially in anime. When we first meet Kutaro Ichikawa, a gloomy teenager obsessed with death and the occult, you might think he's just another edgelord loner with dark fantasies. However, The Dangers in My Heart isn't really about what you see at first glance. Instead, it's a deep dive into the messy, awkward, yet beautiful journey of teenage self-discovery. It challenges you not to judge a book by its cover, because behind every angsty teenager and misunderstood crush lies a story worth telling. Ichikawa is almost a self-insert for a lot of teenagers who believe themselves to be above other humans, and that they alone will change the world. But we see this facade slowly crumble as light is brought into his world. Ichikawa also doesn't have a lot of confidence in himself. He struggles to express who he really is, finding it a lot easier to adopt this edgy persona rather than show real vulnerability. Anna helps him shed this veil, slowly revealing the real person beneath. As Anna Yamada shows him firsthand what it means to love, but also that looks can be deceiving. And what you might see from a person's one side might not be who they actually are. With Anna showing the fact that when she's not in front of other classmates or a camera, that she actually has a very ditzy side and loves to slack off and eat snacks. As innocent as it is, it showcases the side that only Ichikawa gets to see, which he comes to cherish. Anna, in part, comes to rely on this factor. Regardless of Ichikawa and all the teenage angst that he possesses, he still really wants to offer some help to Anna. Even if he does believe himself to be some bloodthirsty monster, in reality, he's harmless. He comes up with this idea of himself. In reality, he's just confused with his feelings of resentment towards Anna as feelings of affection and admiration. How he just can't be honest with himself. But the first chance he gets to assist, he hands her his box cutter, in part due to her misplacing her own, which she just thanks him for. And almost instantly, that bloodthirsty monster starts to melt away. Even though this gesture might be minor, Anna doesn't really make a big deal of it. She simply thanks him, quietly acknowledging the effort that it took for Ichikawa, and this understated moment really starts to gradually draw them closer together. Later into that same episode, he starts to pay it back, with poorly made cat sounds due to Anna's airheadedness with two students awkwardly flirting and her being the, third wheel. She's able to escape, and Ichikawa and her both start making cat noises out of sight, which in turn does ease the tension between those two students. Ichikawa also comes to learn about Anna's vainness. While scouting at the magazine shop, as Ichikawa finds the magazine that she did some modeling for, Anna suddenly appears, clearly hoping that a fan might recognize her. This moment flops, yet Ichikawa does quietly purchase this magazine anyway, and a small moment then starts to become something significant far later on into the series. Towards the end of the first episode, Ichikawa watches Anna be hit on rather aggressively. Ichikawa is passive, making running commentary, and feels rather sorry for Anna. He's irritated, but when the guy grabs her, forcing Anna to add her online, Ichikawa freezes. His world goes black. He's confused. He cares for Anna? So, naturally, he launches his bike down the hill as a distraction. She knows from work that she's an attractive girl. She even teases Ichikawa on this. But for him, while he does admire that part of her, but it's also who she really is as a person that really draws Ichikawa to Anna. The simple factor is, at the end of the episode, when he sacrifices his bike to protect her, she knows, even when Ichikawa won't admit to it. Nothing is painfully said out loud. Rather, there's a lot of subtlety going on between these two. His actions really speak louder than words. He watches over her. He might see himself as this agent of death in the shadows, the ultra edgelord, but in reality, he's a caring person. He doesn't want her to find herself in trouble. This is shown right at the start of episode 2, when she's trying to make neru neru nerun. However, this causes problems by her rushing and spilling water all over the place. He, as such, cleans it up and even attempts to get a cup from the other side of the school. But it's all in vain. She's able to make the neru nerurun as he returns, and he continues to watch over her while also wanting to hurt her. Still, he's not being honest with his feelings. The Dangers in My Heart showcases the perspective of an unlikable character who isn't able to be honest with themselves and believes themselves to be this ultimate edgelord while seemingly breaking their edgelord code to slowly get close to someone he likes, but he just doesn't understand that. The simple factor that I see a lot, and I also struggled with when watching for the first time, is that Ichikawa is really unlikable early on. 2 episodes deep, and he does show some compassion, but he's also creepy, wanting to learn more about her, yet seemingly he hates her. However, in the final act of episode 3, when Anna accidentally, and in part to being distracted by looking at Ichikawa sitting off to the side during gym class, she's hit by a basketball in the face, hurting her nose and causing her to bleed a lot. Ichikawa, without anybody asking him, he runs after her, worried what this might mean. Hearing her cry on the phone to her mother for missing a photo shoot, her cries of agony cause him to cry. But he just doesn't understand his feelings. Seeing the drawing he handed her becoming a keepsake of hers, he has flashbacks of memories that they've shared. It's then when he finally comes to realize he likes her. Love and hate really are the 2 sides of the same coin. In episode 4, he slowly starts to come out of his shell, speaking a bit more frankly with Anna, but also getting into trouble together, helping bring classmates together, and sharing moments together on a bike ride and at a fast food restaurant. Throughout a lot of this episode, Anna is planting seeds and seeing how Ichikawa will react. Throughout an exhibit during the school festival in episode 2, Anna is able to get Ichikawa to show where he lives and where she is relative to one another. He wanted to take a photo of the map, but as the one to get him to come out of his shell, and in part also due to liking being on camera, Anna takes a selfie of the 2 of them on his phone. She knew, but also wanted to do something for him and to capture the memory. As the series goes on, we see them slowly connect, sharing an enjoyment of manga, sharing time together during the rain, her even looking after him when he gets sick and visiting his house, which she only knew about due to that map. But like a lot of romance shows, the damsel in distress believes that the prince is only being kind and sort of using them, which, roles reversed, it still remains. The library. The sanctum in which was only for him, he abandons. The place that he cared for, but also where he got to share with Anna. He puts distance between the 2 of them, as he believes that he was only really being used, not for friendship, but as a pawn for her to use. However, in an act of frustration as to why this was happening and not getting the communication, Anna confronts him and, coincidentally, grabs his wrist just like she was grabbed in episode 1, this time though, pleading, "Are you mad at me? Why?" with sorrow across her face. But it took for him to push her away and to see a face of her crying. This time, because of him. It causes him to snap back to reality, to have this realization that Anna isn't like that she has kept each of those tissue packets out that he had left for her in a previous episode, that losing a friend due to her own actions, that Ichikawa tried to hate her, but it only hurt her. As such, he comes up with a lame excuse for not being at the library, which Anna obviously knows is a lie, but she doesn't care. She just simply hugs him. To err is to human. To forgive, divine. Ichikawa and Anna aren't perfect. They both mess up, misunderstand one another, and unintentionally cause pain. But in this moment of raw honesty, they learn the most challenging lesson. Mistakes don't define us. It's truly how we respond to them does. Due to them growing closer, and due to Anna lending Ichikawa some manga and forgetting to bring the next volume at the end of the school term, she insists on wanting to give him the next volume, and it leads to them exchanging line IDs. Again, a callback to episode 1, but it leads to the 2 of them also growing closer, which in turn leads to an impromptu date, and from there, 9 episodes of build-up finally reaches its climax and natural conclusion. As this chapter ends, however, another begins. The Dangers in My Heart doesn't try to show the best lights of our main characters and hide their worst characteristics. Rather, it showcases that they are human and that they will make mistakes, that they have flaws, and that they will grow and improve on who they are. That doesn't mean Ichikawa and Anna turn into perfect people. To the contrary, they still display flaws, even later into the second season. But the flaws they showcase from the first episode are almost gone, whereas these new flaws that have arisen, it isn't a bad thing, not in the slightest. To think one is perfect is to miss the point of being. Anna also shows countless times throughout the series to be a lot smarter and more mature for her age, arguably brighter than the intelligent Ichikawa. He might have the brains, but he's not always fully clued in. Anna understands people and social situations, but also sees the smaller things that Ichikawa might hide. It's far more so Anna who pushes Ichikawa, and when he doesn't run away, rather pays her more attention, that she gets enthralled, and she knows that he cares for her for just being her. This show tells its story in early episodes through subtlety. In a world where we are constantly bombarded with over-the-top animation, crazy fight scenes, or amazing YouTuber reactions, this show doesn't give us any instant gratification. And you might be thinking, wow, Swan, I've got to watch 9 episodes of this show to get some payoff? That's several hours. So why don't I watch something else? To which I would reply, yeah, if romance comedy isn't your thing, this really isn't for you. You only get the satisfaction of the relationship and the dynamics between the two leads due to learning about their past, how they got to know one another, and where they came from. If you go right to the date of the show, it would still be fun, but you wouldn't understand the dynamics, nor why seemingly two very different people care so much for one another. That this is a genre that is all about slow burns. The reason season 2 of this show is arguably one of the best romance shows is only accomplished due to the depth and character development of season 1. The Dangers in My Heart is worth watching precisely because of its payoffs. It genuinely earns it. Real character growth takes time, and even though Ichikawa seems unlikable at first, which he is, it even made me consider dropping this show. I ultimately love the person he becomes. You only get to appreciate his journey if you see exactly where he started. But what was your takeaway of this show? Did you have a similar feeling early on, or was this a show you dropped early on due to the main character being so unlikable? Let me know in the comment section. But with that all said, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all very, very soon.